What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and in this video we'll be talking about Bitcoin. It is the second day of August, and here we are at about $63,000 with roughly 9 hours and 50 minutes left in the day. Hit that like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here, and let's get into it, okay? Here we are, moving down, okay? Moving down as expected. It is the weekend. Saturday and Sunday on the weekend, typically we don't see too much price action. If we move up over the weekend, we expect to move down over the week. If we move down over the weekend, we expect to move up over the week. We haven't moved at all. We're right where we were at Friday's close. I don't suspect that much will come from this. We're just here, consolidating, chilling. 9 hours, 50 minutes left in the day. If we move up a little bit, whatever. If we move down a little bit, whatever. I do suspect Bitcoin will continue to shift its way down as time goes on. August is here. The month of August is here, you guys. Here we are finally now in this month, this long anticipated month where I've been saying we will see a bit of a bloodbath. We will see the price move down, and I am expecting that we do go below these lows in this month of August. Now, the question at hand is, are we done with the bear market in this month? Does it spill over into September? Does it spill over into October? And the answer is maybe to any of those possibilities. Nobody knows exactly how it's going to look. My assumption, and I think the assumption of most people, is that when this bear market finale comes in, it will be just that, a finale. We will see some very, very fast price action, okay? We look at this here. The majority of this drop from a high to a low took 9 days, okay? We were dropping slowly over time, but the majority of this drop, or at least half of this drop, took 5 days, okay? It doesn't take long for these kind of massive movements to occur. And if we saw anything of this magnitude from, let's say from there, because that might be the high, right there, or from here, that would take us down to 52.2K, maybe as low as 43.5K. Perhaps it's something in between, or something less, or something more. But anything below this low, and probably below 55K, will do. And we'll know it when we see it. We'll know it when we see it. We just don't have it yet. And my assumption has been for the past week now or so that we're in the midst of this move right now. We're actually in the midst of it here. Just like here, you might not have known that you were in the midst of this whole move, but you're in the midst of it. Right? It started up here. You're in the midst of this move over here. You might not have known it at the time, but you were in the midst of it. I think we're in the midst of it now. We're just doing this stuff. We're doing this stuff before we get to this stuff. So how long does this last for? I don't know. Maybe it lasts another day, and then we start to really drop. Maybe it lasts another month, and then we start to drop. Perhaps it's longer, something in between, whatever. But guys, we're there. The bear market finale finish is coming. There's so many bearish things going on. So many telltale signs of the bear market. A lot of people, shout out to TBB and Jason Williams and the TBB community, a lot of people, my timeline is just consumed with TBB. Yeah, F this guy, man. He needs to get Gaddafi'd. Anyways, there's a lot of bearish stuff going on right now. A lot of people are worried about AI and its potential to hack wallets and cold storage. A lot of these, what are they, cold wallets, or what was I can't even remember the wallet that's being hacked right now. It's being abused. Exploited might be a better word. Is it cold wallet? I forget what it's called. It might be cold wallet. There's like $88 million in Bitcoin that's just been taken from these wallets. That's being effectively hacked from these cold storage vaults, and people are freaking out because of that. The thing is, AI, for all the bad things AI exploits, there will be good things that AI creates as well. Because of this, now AI can use this metric, can use this stuff, so that whenever we create further future protocols and whatevers, future software designs and cold storage wallets, be able to work this out and make it more secure. There's AIs that are running vulnerability tests, exploit tests for good guys who are using that to make their protocols stronger. So AI is not just a one-sided thing. It's not just negative. We're seeing the negative part come in now, and it happens to be at the very ass end of this bear market, right? We're literally at the end times. Crypto companies are shutting down. There's people who made tons of money in crypto who are losing money at this point. There was one guy, I forget what his name was, but he had a hedge fund that was affiliated with crypto, affiliated with AI, and he literally lost everything like the other day. I mean, the end times are here. We're definitely there, man. The narratives are there. I think we're just waiting for that one big thing. We've got all these little things laid out. We're waiting for that one big thing. And whenever that one big thing happens, well, we'll see. We'll see this dramatic shift come into view. Anyways, 1 hour time frame. Looking at this here. Man, my eye hurts so bad. Overbought. Now you're not. Yeah, it's pretty volatile. You're pretty volatile in price, though, to be fair. Stochastics look bearish. The RSI could take a bearish turn. The MACD is definitely bearish at this area where you'd expect to find resistance. 4 hour time frame here. Lower highs, lower lows, looks bearish on the RSI. Stochastics at the 50, perfect area to reject. You're finding resistance at prior support. MACD looks bearish overall. I mean, yeah, you might move down, but I don't think you're going to see anything significant until tomorrow. Again, it's the weekend. You probably don't see too much of a significant price action. Now, you are in this trend, right, with these lower lows and this lower highs. Maybe you move up a little bit before you move down, but I still think there's impending downside to come, and we are in this overall range here. We are in this overall, I didn't mean to draw it that deep. It's more shallow than that. We're in this overall range here. So as we really start to get away from this like 62K level, 61.5K level, as we really start to get away from that, that could be when the pace picks up, right? The pace picked up to the upside and then slowed down once we got here. Once we break out, the pace might pick up to the downside, and well, we'll see. We'll see how that all goes, how that all transpires. Daily time frame here. Looking at the daily, the RSI has found resistance. We called that on the day that we'd probably find resistance up in this area and move down. Probably gets oversold. We're likely going to get oversold before this move is over to the downside. Stochastics are just now getting oversold. The last time that we saw the stochastics get oversold was here. To be fair, it was here. We're more oversold now than we were there. And then we moved up. But the time before that, when we first got oversold, it was the beginning phase of this overall move down. We got into it a little bit here. We were at the end there. But again, the time before where you really saw continued iterations in there, it was a move down like this. It was an overall overarching move like this to the downside. So I'm assuming we're entering a phase here, much like this phase, much like this phase. That's my assumption, right? Here, the RSI was already oversold and you were coming up. Here and here, the RSI was already oversold and you were coming up. You were coming up, okay? Here, where we are now, RSI is coming down. RSI rejected the overbought zone. RSI rejected the overbought zone. It's coming down. RSI rejected the overbought zone. It's coming down, right? We're much more comparable, and even with the price action itself, much more comparable to these beginning stages of these last dramatic moves down. That's my opinion. The MACD sucks, man. It is bad. It really looks bad. It's truly something that I would just say is terrible. It does not look good at all. In fact, I would compare this MACD here, what we're seeing now, very comparable to what we saw back here as far as readings go. Look, you even had the false cross here, the false cross here, before you went and crossed the zero, before you went and crossed the zero. You were green for a predominant a long time. You were basically green for a long time here as well. It's a little bit different, but super similar. Super similar. And what happened here whenever you were just above? I mean, you're right here. You're in these beginning stages right before the real kicker came in, man. I feel like the sign that the writing is on the wall. I feel like it's really on the wall. And if it is, what it's telling us, hold on. What it's telling us is that 55 to 49K is the perceived target area initially. Perhaps something as low as 45. Even the 30s is possible, I suppose. But I'm really a proponent of believing that we go somewhere near 49K, near 50K, somewhere in this area. if not 43K. I'm personally more of a proponent of this area here, but 55 to 49K is that primary zone. 49 to 43K is that secondary zone for me, as far as what I'm considering. I want to look at this real quick, and then we're going to end the video. From a high to a low, from a high to a low, from a high to a low, and then from the high here. 36%, 38%, 30%. What I'm assuming is we either see something that's smaller than any of these movements so far, or something that's an average of these movements. Okay? So what's 36 plus 38 is 74. Plus 30, it's 104. Let's, with these decimals, let's say 105. 105 divided by 3, that's roughly 34. 34 point something. 105 divided 30, 70. No, it'd be 35. Wow, it'd be 35 right on the dot. Okay, cool. So 35% would be the average. So if we saw an average of these three from a high to a low, 35%, more or less, would take us down to 43K, which again is the bottom of the barrel on this kind of perceived price action. Now, an average makes a lot of sense in my opinion, but also a smaller move makes sense too, to me, right? You look at this here, your initial move down, that move right there, that was 39%. That was pretty big. Here, high to low, 36%. That's pretty big. The biggest move happened in the midst of the bear market. But this move, the bear market finale finish, it was 27%. It was actually the smallest move, right? We go on Binance here, and this was a big move from a high to a low. That was a big move. It absolutely was. And I missed that low a little bit. It's probably closer to 60%. 59%, whatever. But the biggest move was here, right? We did see a move that wasn't the biggest move. Again, it wasn't the biggest. It wasn't bigger than any of these movements. It was bigger. It wasn't the smallest movement this time. But we also kind of had a different dynamic here, didn't we? We had a long consolidation phase, this little triangle here, for a very long time. So we had a very explosive move down. Where this, I wouldn't say we've had a long consolidation phase. We're stair-stepping down. So my assumption is this move will likely be either this big or smaller. It will not be larger than any of these moves. You can go back into any Bitcoin bear market. The finale does not represent the largest move. It's typically in the midst of the bear market, not the end of the bear market. It's a large move, but not the largest move. So I'm thinking 43. I think we nailed it on the head. 43.5K, 43K is the lowest that I assume we go. But if we see something that's smaller, maybe it's the smallest move of the cycle, which it could be, something less than 30%. Let's just, let's assume 30% or less. That would take us to 47K or higher. And if we put a line there, let's put a line first off at 43.5K just so we have that. 43 right there. We put a line here at that 30% drop right there, right? This is the smallest move we've seen so far. So if we saw like a 29% drop or lesser of a drop, prior resistance here, prior support there. Also, with our Fibonacci extensions from a low to a high, I think it makes a lot of sense in that area as well, right? That move there is the 30% level. So anything above that, the golden ratio is right there at 49%. This would be the smallest drop we've seen of the bear cycle if we stopped here at the golden ratio, at prior support, at prior resistance. 52K, prior support here, 1414, it's a perfectly fine, acceptable area to go to. If we go a little bit past that, we see a move that's a little bit bigger, than the smallest drop that we've seen so far, but not the biggest move. I mean, there's fib levels here to stop us there. It makes sense, man. I really believe we've got an appropriate outline. I've been saying 55K for so long. I really do think 50 to 43K is much more appropriate, especially around that 50K area. I wouldn't be surprised if we went below 50K, but I'm not expecting that we drop too much more below there. I would be very surprised if we drop below 43K. That's not in my wheelhouse of expectations. But I've got nothing else. We talked about this at length for so long now, guys, for this whole month, really, the whole month of July. Now we're here in August. I'm expecting the end is going to happen either this month or over the next couple of months. But we're there. We're at this phase. And I think it's happening right now. I really do. I'm very suspect of August providing the bear market low. If not, the majority, the meat of this move is going to happen in August. And then maybe it bleeds into September. Maybe the beginning of September we get that bear market low. I don't know. But I'm calling for it to be in August. It could be early September. Either way, potato, tomato, whatever. Hit that like button, subscribe. Take care. Thank you all. Bye.